So on April 25th, 2026, a would-be assassin attempted to take out members of the current president's administration and was quickly apprehended, luckily with only one injured individual. So his weapon choice were very interesting. That's what we're here to break down. So let's get to it. This is Fafnir's Firearms. Thanks for joining us. Let's check it out. All right, so shotgun of choice. He actually used a Maverick 88, which we have right here. We'll get into in just a second. The one I'm representing here is it's just a basic Mossberg 500. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's the basic pump action shotgun. You got a release lever right here. Pump your shotgun. When you fire it, you can freely run the pump handle there. This one has a 18.5-inch barrel. You get 5 shells in the tube, plus 1 in the chamber, giving you a grand total of 6. Math is difficult for many of us. The modification that he had that kind of made the most interesting, because I happen to have this exact same stock, is, I forget, honestly, the exact brand. I'll throw the name of it up here somewhere. But it's kind of like your Spas 12 at home, where it's still got the, adds a pistol grip to it, and then it folds, and then you got this big button right here that you press, and it folds on top. But not very well. There's still a gap here to where it doesn't close all the way on there. Very tactical. And then same thing, it has a release button right here that you press, and it folds back out if you need it. So your safety is right here. Up is fire, down is safe. Firearms clear, of course. And then my version has these really cool pick rails on each side that add plus 10 to coolness. So it's a basic shotgun. Obviously, shotguns are devastating at close range. A very interesting choice, to say the least, but it has the benefit of being pretty budget friendly. YouTube doesn't let us say prices, but this is pretty budget friendly shotgun that you can find pretty much anywhere. So Mossberg 500 is representing that. The gun he actually used was a Maverick 88, which is actually the cheaper, even more budget-friendly version of the Mossberg 500. This one happens to be in the hunting configuration, so you've got about a 26-inch barrel, but you can get different barrels. It's the same controls, same everything. It just has the solid fixed hunting stock, which honestly looks way better than that, and it feels way better to shoot, in my opinion. Longer barrel, of course, is typically used for hunting, but shotguns need that barrel length to get a little more range and accuracy. But exact same controls, same everything, except your safety selector, instead of being ambidextrous up here, it's this little button right here in front of the trigger guard. One side's black, the other side is red. Red is dead. Redemption. So that's our Maverick 88, the even more budget-friendly shotgun. Now, the handgun that he decided to use, again, kind of an interesting choice, is a Rock Island 1911. This one specifically is chambered for 45 ACP because they don't make a 46. And you get your 7 rounds, plus 1 in the chamber if you really want it, 2 World Wars, all that. Rock Island's known for making pretty budget-friendly guns, but I've owned a couple, and honestly, they've been really great. I haven't had any issues with them. You have your, of course, your manual safety over here, external hammer, beaver tail safety, all the other great 1911 goodness. You have a 5-inch government profile barrel. Again, this one's in 45. The would-be assassin, he who shall not be named, of course, actually had his chamber for 38 Super, which is a caliber that's not super common. It's very common in Mexico, from what I've heard, just not super common in the U.S. It was kind of in the 90s, 2000s, a lot more popular. So for our 38 Super handgun here, we have an actual Colt 1911. So we're getting a little bit more expensive. And this is, again, a single stack. You get 9 rounds in the magazine, plus 1 in the chamber makes 10. 38 Super is a little bit bigger than 9mm. You get about, I think, 15% more powder in there, but it's about the same size projectile. Same basic 1911 controls. This one just has a painted front sight post that's red. It came that way. I bought the gun exactly like this. I've never even shot this handgun. I bought it used years ago, and I've just had it for a long time. So we're actually going to put some rounds through it and see how it feels. And for your ammo comparison, I don't know what shells, obviously, the would-be assassin was using. I don't know if it was buckshot, birdshot, double-aught, slug, who knows. So we have our 2 3/4 inch basic birdshot. We got some Fiocchi here. Just your basic target ammo. You can shoot small game with it. And then you have your 3-inch loads. They're a little bit bigger. You can obviously get bigger BBs, more powder in there. But it's only a 1/4 of an inch bigger. But a lot of people use 3-inch for more hunting bigger birds and stuff like that. For our handgun, like I said, it was chambered for 38 Super. This is a Federal 115 grain, jacketed hollow point, and this is a plus P. My local gun store only had plus P ammo. They didn't have any just full metal jacket target ammo. That's compared to your 9mm, if you can see that, cameraman, right there. Just a little bit bigger. They're about the same grain. This is a Federal 115. They both are Federal 115s, just a little bit more on it. And then to compare to that, you've got your 45 ACP, your big Chungus cartridge right here. And you're talking 230 grains, moving a lot slower of a standard 1911. So it's very interesting to see a 38 Super being used. It's just something you don't see all that often, but it's, you know, something different, that's for sure. But it's also, both firearms were, from the way the stories go that I saw, were purchased legally in the state of California, which, as many of you know, is very restrictive on their firearms and the type of firearms they're allowed to have. And both were purchased there legally, which is just, you know, some food for thought there. So let's start getting some rounds through these guns. Let's just see how they do and how some compare to each other. All right, first things first, we're going to do our caliber comparison. First thing is our Glock 9mm Gen 3 Super Basic. All right. There's your point of reference, super common 9mm, you know, 9x19, most common handgun caliber pretty much in the world. So now let's grab the 38 Super. Of course, easy recoil to control, nothing too crazy. All right, gun I never shot before with our plus P, because that's the only ammo that I could get. That's a great sign. Wow. That's and it didn't lock to the rear in the last round. Wow, that needs some new springs or something. My gosh. Okay, well, those rounds are pretty much the same size. They're the same projectile. I will say I felt a little bit more recoil, but considering those are plus P, honestly, they didn't feel that bad at all. That was pretty easy to shoot. I mean, if the gun was 100% reliable, I could see that being a, you know, a good option for personal defense or whatever. And then, of course, we have the venerable 45 ACP of our actual Rock Island. As you can see here, as the wind picks up on our target, you can see all those 45 holes are just about double the size of the 9mm. Obviously, you got way more stopping power, way bigger cartridge. It's just moving a lot slower. But, you know, common 1911 caliber. And then next we have the shotgun. So we'll start here with the actual Maverick 88 and its hunting configuration. Hunting configuration, you get 3 shells, counting the one in the chamber. And you can see already eviscerated target. Obviously, shotgun is great at close range. It's making a comeback, not only because of drone warfare, but also because, you know, trenches of World War I, they call to us, right? Okay. Works great. Easy to shoot. And they'll go back to our Spas 12 at home here. I will say the would-be assassin also had that that Velcro sleeve on the side that holds extra shells. I do not own one of those, so I had to go without. As I said, devastating at very close range, like all shotguns are. All right. POV, you're walking through the grocery store with a 38 Super 1911, very questionable reliability. Can you defend yourself? The answer is no. But that's okay. You came prepared, so you have a second one. And that ran out. The answer is yes, just not with this 38 Super, apparently. All right, so probably should have said this earlier in the video. This video is specifically for entertainment purposes and breakdowns of the firearms utilized. We, of course, at Fafnir's do not encourage any type of violence against anyone, no matter what. And luckily, no one was injured. The one person that was, the one Secret Service or police officer, whatever he was that was shot, luckily his vest stopped the round. And everyone was uninjured and everything, and the suspect was taken into custody and all that stuff. So, of course, don't condone any violence at any level. That being said, these firearms are a very interesting choice. For those of us that are poverty tier lovers, myself amongst them, besides this is questionable reliability in this one, but we'll use the actual Rock Island here. It shoots actually pretty dang well. You know, I keep saying it's just an interesting choice. You've got single stack handgun and you got a pump action shotgun that's pretty low on the price point there. Just, you know, everybody's a little bit different, and I'm not going to give tips to anybody who's trying to harm anybody in any way. I don't mean it like that. Self-defense is absolutely a different thing than, you know, trying to take the life of an individual that you disagree with and you have a whole manifesto about it, because for some reason they always do. Me personally, again, not this specific one's reliability, but I could see 38 Super being a very viable cartridge for concealed carry, self-defense. You're hiking out in the woods in case a bear comes towards you, something like that, you know. Shotgun, whether it's pump, semi-auto, it has a really awkward top folding stock that looks really cool when you're broke, and then you later regret it, and then you already gave away the original furniture to your buddy years ago, and he doesn't want to give it back to you, so you're stuck with this. A shotgun, of course, you can't go wrong. An 18-inch barreled shotgun is going to do the job at close range, of course. You saw the target got decapitated a little bit there, but that's at close range. As far as hunting, home defense, all that stuff, of course, shotgun's going to be great. Even with a shorter barrel, you can still make it work. And then your venerable actual Maverick 88 with your full length hunting barrel, it's great for turkey season, goose, duck, whatever else you're hunting out there. So, you know, do what you want with that info. Depends how much money you want to spend on stuff for your own hunting purposes or whatever you're doing with them. So, of course, as always, skull to my viewers there. I appreciate you guys very much. Drink some water. As always, this is Fafnir's Firearms channel, and be sure to arm yourself, and you too can be the protector of mankind, just like the almighty Thor. I'll see you next time.